We shift gears to the Lakers. Yesterday, they introduced their new head coach. That's Darvin Ham, who, of course, was asked about, among other things, Russell Westbrook's role on the team. Listen to what he had to say.
Don't get it messed up. Russ is one of the best players our league has ever seen, and there's still a ton left in that tank. I don't know why people tend to try to write him off.
So I know why people try to write him off. What did you make of that and of the overall notion of Westbrook continuing there into whatever this new iteration is?
Well, Darvin Ham has a job to do, and that's to figure out how to make LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook fit together. And we talked all the time this past season about how awkward of a fit is it. And I've said this multiple times this season. They got the player they traded for. This was not a different version of Russ. If you look at all of his numbers outside of the counting stats, the points per game, obviously his usage rate is going to go down with LeBron James. He shot the same percentage virtually at every spot on the basketball floor that he had shot before. And then towards the end of the season, you could see his confidence waning a little bit, and he was pressing, and he was trying to figure it out. He's still a really good basketball player. Let's be very clear on that. When I think about the Lakers, I don't think about the big three. Certainly they need to be healthy. They need to figure out how to play together. I think about 3 through 8 or 4 through 8. I think about those roster pieces. Last year they played with a bunch of guys who hadn't been good since 2016. And you can't win in the NBA without all the ancillary pieces.
You played them when you were in New Orleans, in the first game that Anthony Davis came back, if I'm remembering that correctly. So you did see them theoretically whole and before they didn't even make the play-in tournament. What was your perspective on all this?
Well, I like the highlights that you guys are showing right now, so let's kind of check that out and get to the floater right here. Oh, no, step, pull up, bang. I think the biggest thing that I noticed is that they weren't healthy. Obviously, everyone's talking about Russ's play. They're talking about Bron. They're talking about AD, how they didn't get a lot of games together. I think that's going to make all the difference. Success is virtually determined by how well you collectively get along, cohesiveness, trust, understanding of each other, and it's health. They didn't have all 3 of those. They weren't healthy, so it was hard for the cohesiveness to come together. AD's an all-world player. We all know that. He's very talented, but if he's not available, it's hard for them to be successful. And I think they've seen that. They had a lot of injuries, guys coming in and out of the rotation. I think that changed the game. But Russ's numbers, when Bron didn't play, were very, very similar to his numbers in OKC.
Yeah, and one point on this regarding the health thing, like I agree with you, CJ. Like they need Anthony Davis to play 72 to 75 games. They need LeBron to play 72 to 75 games, Russ to play 72 to 75 games. My question is, with their skill sets, who are the other 2 pieces you are putting around them? Are you playing Anthony Davis at the 5? Are you playing him at the 4? He was not a good and efficient jump shooter last season. So you need either a stretch 5 or you need 2 dead-eye knockdown shooters and Anthony Davis playing the 5 and maybe some LeBron playing the 5. That's ultimately what's going to make Russ at his best, is putting more shooting around him. That's what the Houston Rockets did. He had the same awkward fit when he first got there. And remember, they traded away Clint Capella. They put P.J. Tucker at the 5. They opened up the floor. That's ultimately what the Lakers are going to have to do if they want to be a good basketball team next year.
Can it work? Can it work with I mean, very simply, can Russell Westbrook and LeBron James be on the same team doing the things that they do at this stage of their lives? They're not changing their games, and have it work in a big way.
I think it's going to be tough because they're both ball-dominant players. Someone has to continue to work towards getting off the ball, and I don't know what that looks like for them. Obviously, Russ historically rebound, he can start the break. Bron can rebound and start the break, but Ham talked about running a 4-out, 4-out, 1-in. Who's the 1-in? Is it AD? And who's going to be the 4-out, essentially having the ball? I know there was issues on who's the point guard, who's going to bring it up, things of that nature. But I think they have to stagger the minutes, kind of work out ways to allow Russ to be the best version of himself. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for this to work.
Did you see he was there yesterday?
Yeah. I just want to be clear on this, and see, I just want to be crystal clear on this. I really believe this, and CJ has alluded to this. I have alluded to this. I don't think last season was an indictment on Russell Westbrook, the basketball player. I think last season was an indictment on a terrible fit. I want to be very clear on that.
I agree with you, but I would go further. It doesn't get better. Like, there is no fit between those 2 guys that work. If you came here, you're a magnificent addition to this show. But if you came here and the best thing you did was read in and out of the commercial breaks, I would say, no, we don't need that. Well, we already have someone to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? They already have someone who does all the things Russell Westbrook does, and then they went out and got someone else who does it. It doesn't make any sense.
Which is why I'm saying, unless you put the next 4 or 5 guys be the perfect fit to outweigh this awkward fit, you're not going to be a top 3 or 4 team in the West next year. You're not.
Shooting is a priority in this league. So
Yeah.
if you're going to have two guys who love to penetrate, who love to play in the same spaces, Dame and I played in a lot of the same spaces, but we both could shoot. And I think shooting is the ultimate separator. So people have to get more comfortable with either catching and going like the San Antonio Spurs do to create more space and driving angles, or they have to work on catch and shoot opportunities. And I think that's what you're seeing as one of the issues is the spacing, because they're all playing in the same space. And you referenced AD shooting last year. He didn't shoot particularly well from three, and I think that clogged it up a little bit as well.
All right, hold that thought. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.